Welcome to the World United. Welcome to the World United.
Well, we were supposed to have 6 speakers on here today. We only have had 3, but thank you so much for the 3.
I'll ask Jennifer a couple of questions.
Oh, all right. Well, let's do that because we're moving now into a discussion, a panel discussion anyway. So why don't we?
We do, Janet. We do have a video that Dr. Cousins, I think that's his last name, he submitted. Would you like me to play that?
Oh, yeah. Well, let's keep Francine, since we're right focused on what Jennifer just presented. Can we take just a minute, let Francine ask her question? Let's complete this discussion and then show the video because we have plenty of time now, but thank you. I didn't even know about that. So I'm glad you're there to tell me.
Sean asked if I would be ready to play it.
Okay. So Francine, ask your question of Jennifer. Let's finish this thread.
I just wanted to say how humbled I am absolutely by her information because I am going to reach out to her because I could definitely use some help in my physical body. I am working through it, yes. And there's some things that are happening I have no choice to use Western and Eastern medicine, which is a combination. I prefer Eastern, but in this case, I don't have a choice with these Western, and Benjamin's here, so I think he gets it. And I want to be able to go off all the meds. I've been literally going off them on my own, but because I'm having heart surgery soon, which I don't want to do, Benjamin, but it still has to be. But I really want to connect with Jennifer at some point. And Jennifer, if you look me up, I think what you did was humbling, showing your life and your pain. That just brought me so much ease in my heart. And I want to thank you for that because I've been to that place and I'm still going through it. And I'm on my last stage of it. I know that because, but I wanted to thank you and honor you for what you shared because you shared a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I think a lot of people
get afraid.
They get afraid to share their personal experiences in their dark places, and obviously that was the very condensed, shortened version of it, But when we're open to opening up, we realize how many other people really have experience so similar to what we have. And
well, that's why those people come to us. They are sent to us by spirit.
Exactly.
So you were here.
And Francine, you're freezing again.
Because I felt told to stay on to make sure I heard something. I mean, everybody reach out to you. So I want to thank you.
And okay, thank you, Francine. You are, for me, almost inaudible and you're freezing. So I'm thinking maybe it would be a good time, Benjamin,
yes, please do. Go. Let me
move on to now. Whose video is this? Did you say it was Gabrielle? Hey, Cousins.
Yes, that's the video. So
okay, and she is a doctor of divinity.
He is. Yeah.
Do you want to introduce her, or you want me to do it?
I'm so sorry. I didn't. It's a him.
Oh, yes, of course. It doesn't have the LE on the end. Okay, let's go with the video. And how do we get sound on this? Because I'm not getting any sound.
No sound?
I am not.
All right, one.
There's a gobbling noise, so it's overtaken.
Is anybody else hearing sound?
No, I hear gobbling noise. There's no noise.
Let me see if I can try something on the settings. And if not, then we may just have to have his recording available on the YouTube channel.
Okay. In the meantime, while you're trying to figure that out, I will give a little bit of information about Gabrielle. It's Cousins, is that the way you pronounce it? Doctor of Divinity, diplomat in Ayurveda, diplomate, American Board of Holistic Integrative Medicine, spiritual teacher and physician of the soul. And his video is about foundations and sevenfold peace, P-E-A-C-E, as a natural way of living that leads to liberation. So as soon as our tech expert here, Benjamin, gets the sound.
That was a great introduction. And that needed to lead right into the video. Okay, I'll try it again.
Okay, we'll let you know whether we can hear, whether we are open to hearing. I am still not hearing anything. Maybe it's something on my end.
Is it that way for all of the
Yes, I can.
viewers? Okay, well,
Yeah,
I'm going to apologize to Dr. Cousins. And I don't know how many live viewers we have right now who are watching this, but they will provide this on the YouTube channel.
Thanks for trying.
Yeah, so if you're interested in the topic of nourished and non-toxic, go check this out on the YouTube channel once it gets archived there. So now we're moving into a panel discussion, and I would just like to personally ask for your forgiveness, but I am a speaker at 3:45. I'm on Eastern time. Well, actually, that gives us lots of time for this panel discussion since some of our speakers are not here. So I may leave a little bit early and just let the rest of you close up. I hope that's okay, but I probably have some logistics to go through before I actually start speaking. So let's move into the discussion, the panel discussion. Life has a flow. Yeah, life does have a flow. For me, it's like this infinity symbol. If you allow it to happen, if you stop it, you're kind of stuck in something which you can't see, but maybe other people can see. So, and all of you have offered practices or tools for ways of turning back, returning to the flow. I mean, returning was one of the words. Who used that? Somebody used it. Was it you, Benjamin?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, and you were also talking, Benjamin, about setting up a kind of a structure or an organic expression of what your own life path has been, or something like along that line. So how do we do that without imprisoning other people in a conceptual box?
That's a great question. I'll do my best to respond to that, and I'd love to hear what others have too. But this is a concept that I have had in the back of my mind constantly for the past 6 years. I heard earlier that you practice law. That's your background.
Part of it.
So
that's a small piece of my background.
I think that's amazing. In the legal practice, there is an understanding about this concept of equity and how equity is able to balance between justice and mercy. So what brought me into this mind-body practice was this philosophical search on how do we find that balance between action and non-action? Because in the writings of the Tao Te Ching, which, by the way, is the second most printed book in all the world next to the Bible, it has over 3,000 translations, and it's so small. It's just you can buy it in a little paperback. Mm-hmm. But it's used as a manual for understanding some of the mystical nature of the operation of the universe. But it's also like a guidebook for learning for emperors or rulers on how to govern without ruling. And so there are inherent paradoxes that can be confusing at first because they involve statements that seem to contradict each other. But in the contradiction, there is a truth that's revealed. There's a principle of peace that's revealed from it. And so there's a saying about the Tao, this natural way. It doesn't do anything, and yet nothing is left undone. How do you find that? How do you experience that? Especially when you feel like your day-to-day life is just cluttered with tasks. And it's like being on a conveyor belt where constant tasks and deadlines and pressures and projects are coming at you, and life feels like the survival that was mentioned earlier. And what's the joy of this? Why am I sticking around for this? If this is all that life is, I need to break through to something deeper. I need to expand beyond the busyness and the tasks. And what I found, it is discovered through the experiential. There is a way to embody this philosophy, and that's why I found this and why I looked for this, because I couldn't just comprehend it up here in the philosophy or the theoretical realm. But when I embody it, then it taught me, that's what I felt as an actor. That's what I felt as a dancer. There's a certain trust that you learn to trust the muscle memory of the patterns have been trained and the spiritual cultivation that's grown, and that you yield to it, which is similar to surrender. It's probably another way of understanding surrender. But when you learn to yield, that's how you have the victory. Your victory comes when you yield. It's when you don't focus on doing that everything seems to be accomplished. And as one of my teachers said, you cannot beat a river into submission. You can only immerse into it and use its power as your own. So I don't know if that answered your question, but that is what came to the surface of my thoughts from that question.
Well, I have something that came to the surface of my thoughts. This appeared for me probably 3 or 4 years ago, but it was almost the final piece of a puzzle I was struggling to put together and couldn't quite fit all the pieces together. But it's the map is not the territory. A term by Alfred Korzybski, who was a Polish semanticist.
I like
to elaborate on that. The map is not the territory. The words are not the experience. The menu is not the food you eat. Driving north on Interstate 75 on the west coast of Florida is not the same as experiencing the swaying palms, the beautiful bougainvillea, the gorgeous sunsets. So one is these conceptual maps that we human beings have created with our words and our concepts. And the words and concepts fight with one another. The map is not the territory. So we're stuck lots of times in these words, these concepts, which appear to be opposites. But when you get beneath them to the underlying experience, there is an experience of being here now. And then you use the words as tools or vehicles to create and co-create and manifest out into the world. That's what I have to offer right now.
That was beautifully expressed. I love that.
So where would you like to take this panel discussion next? We're talking about unity consciousness, and it sounds to me as if each and every one of us has experienced that, although each one of us is manifesting it differently, uniquely.
Maybe Benjamin can, with his background and your background, I'm not thinking anything, I'm hearing to ask. Where do either one of you feel this, we'll say the word chaos, the human mind is going at this point? Because there has been put into, this is not an accident, this is totally divinely and humanly made. Everybody blames God for what's happening. It's not. Humans did this. He created us. That's about it. We did it for us. But the division and to try to get people to literally see things without being argumentative about this, what you're talking about, how do you, that's, I think my frustrating part is I want so much people to say, just listen and hear others out. Just go in a place of quiet and peace. And why are people struggling? I'm going to ask that because I'm struggling with it too, with others. I'm looking around. I'm observing. But I've never been in a place where I am going, I don't get it. I don't get it. How do people stay awake, not awake? How are they sleeping and not hearing Benjamin or you or me or any of the people or speakers? How do you not come here and say, I have questions and I'm tired of living in a crazy world right now? How do people get so insane? And I'll say, I can't think of the word to use because there is no word. Because the words that are made up are human words made up. It's the emotions I'm feeling. I am connecting to the emotions of the world like many of you are. I know, Benjamin, you must be doctor, the one, you're feeling it. I know I'm feeling it. And when I feel it, it is intense. And I'm like, what can I do? I don't know what to do besides pray and send energy. I know this is going to help. But then there are people that are literally writing things that are so nasty about what we're doing. And that's on them. Who cares? But how do we reach? We're trying with this platform to reach others. We are trying so hard to reach others. But guess what? Others have to try to come to us to hear what we have to say. And if they're not willing, we cannot, and we are not responsible for their actions. And there should be no judgment on our part, just praying that people start awakening to their truth and the peace. Like Benjamin, I can't wait to take your class later. I am so looking forward to that. I mean, I could use that to be in peace. Other people could be on this today going, wow, I didn't know that. I could be in peace instead of being chaotic and watching TV and getting insane. I mean, what you said and what the doctor has talked about is how do you go to that place? And that is where I think most people are stuck. You got them and them. There's no us anymore. And I think this is all just so tight. Like you said, the body's tight, the throat's tight, the neck's tight, the shoulder's tight. Everybody, when you're tight, what happens? You're cranky and nasty and arrogant and selfish. In other words, you're living under the word fear. And that's what everybody's living under. Not everybody, many of us are living under the word fear. So how do we, and during this release, or how people see that the fear is just an illusion? That's the only way I can think of. This is an illusion.
So if our thoughts, in a sense, they're an illusion, we can certainly think of them that way. And Hinduism talks about piercing the veil of illusion. So, and I'm doing a workshop on that at 5.
Yeah, you see how they run in this synchronicity here, all of us. It's synchronicity.
Yeah. But if you realize that your words are just maps of the territory, then everybody else's words are maps of the territory that their own life path has taken them through. So the maps are not the territory. And if you can go beneath the maps and start asking questions as to what is it these words are referring to? What's the underlying experience that went on here that has created these words? And perhaps they're not consciously created. Perhaps it's coming from the unconscious in the only way we can put it out there right now. How can we shift it? How can we shift and choose the words we're putting out into the world to create and co-create the kind of world, not only the world we want to live in, but the kind of person we want to be? And there are lots of tools out there.
What
Like
action
affirmations, for example, is one that I think of. I can teach people how to release fear, and that gets into watching your own mind. So who's doing the watching? Buddhists talk about the witness. But every time, how can I put this? I probably can't put it really well, but I'll do the best I can. Every time you are looking out there, or you're looking at someone else, rather than doing your own inner work, you're creating a duality. It's a subject-object duality. And how does this come together? It comes together in amazing ways, either with a 2x4 to the head, or else just by surrendering, I think, and then trusting and choosing to trust. So you can choose your practices. And some are going to work for you and some aren't.
Sure.
Francine, I appreciate your questions, and Jenna, I love your thoughts and your expressions. The thoughts that come to my mind are that, similar to what Gandhi expressed once, that we have to be the change that we want to see in the world. And in the Tao Te Ching, there's a saying that you must see yourself as the world. So as I create peace within me, then peace is created external of me. And it begins with the awareness of how is there not peace in me? What's that chaos? I love that the use of that word, Jennifer, chaos, because recently I took, and I'll just share a personal experience if we have a minute. I took a training in hypnotherapy, and I did it because I have to shift because of the shifting sun. I did it because I wanted to better help my clients. I knew that healing had to begin in consciousness, in the thoughts. And what I didn't expect throughout the training was how transformative it was for me. And we were taught a self-hypnosis technique that is meant to kind of clear out the garbage in the subconscious mind. And what surprised me the most was waking up in the morning and how I felt about myself. Because I felt a love toward myself, that gave me an awareness of how much I actually hated myself. I hated an aspect of myself. And all along, I didn't realize that a part of me was an enemy to the other part of me. So if I am split internally and I feel enmity against a part of me that I can't accept, I haven't forgiven. It's unacceptable. And I'm not really consciously doing this, but it's a subconscious response. There's no way that I'm going to see the world as peaceful and whole when I'm not whole. If I live truly, I can see truly. And so I've taken on a greater degree of self-responsibility. And there is a requirement and a discipline in the training that in order to really go through the evolution of enlightenment and transformation, it requires taking 100% responsibility for all my actions and inactions. But as I'm healing my relationship with myself, and that requires deep healing, that requires addressing things that I didn't even have awareness were in there that stem from childhood. Typically, these, and these significant traumatic events are before the age of 5 or 3, sometimes in utero, because we're influenced and impacted by our mother's emotional states and how she's perceiving the world. But as I'm healing my relationship with myself, I grow in brightness, and that light is able to shine through me. And I know that it has a transformative influence and effect in the world around me. And that's part of the focus of what I'm doing in the work of Blue Puddle Foundation, is not only inner healing and transformation, but how we do this in a community and how we create what I call an energy economy. And that's ways that we're helping each other. We help others in ways that they can't help themselves, and we allow others to help us in ways that we can't help ourselves. Sure. And that is how the inner world starts impacting and influencing the outer world, and so on from there. So great question. Thanks for prompting those thoughts.
Thank you.
Can I share a couple things?
Jennifer, you want to add to this?
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know I thought I was on mute. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So as all three of you were talking, I had so many thoughts, but there's just a couple that keep kind of sticking out. So as I presented what I presented, sometimes I kind of hesitate. I shouldn't say hesitate. I think a little bit harder on, okay, how am I expressing this in a way that that's real? Because I overcame this massive thing that I needed to overcome, experienced profound healing. My entire life was changed. I go from this dark place to this place of light, and I get it now. I've woken up. I see it for what it is, yada, yada, yada. But what also happened with that was I realized how much I had healed from physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. It almost made me realize how much I still needed to heal. It was opening up my understanding that this entire life is it's a journey, like a life journey of healing and overcoming and renewing. And all the way until, I've just decided I'm going to live until at least 100. And so all the way until whenever it is that I pass on, even the day before, there will be things that I need to change and overcome and fix or whatever, because we're imperfect. That's just how we are. And this whole thing of change and healing it just is a journey. It's not an event, it's a journey. I think someone said something similar to that earlier in relation to something else. I can't remember what, but through this whole process, what I've realized is that, and going back to what Francine said, yes, what's happening right now, whatever it is, it's weird. That word weird is the word that I talk to so many people. That is the word that comes out of their mouth. It's just weird. It's so weird. Like weird is the word. And I get and I understand what's going on. And yet I don't quite understand what's going on. I think we're all in that place. We get it, but we don't get it. And it gets a little bit nerve-wracking for a lot of people because we almost come to this standstill where we can feel the craziness and the chaos of what's happening, but what do we do? And so, like I said, we just come to this standstill. Like we don't know what to do. We don't know what to say. But what has really helped me is, like Benjamin talked about, you have to make those personal changes. And when you make those personal changes and you have those conscious thoughts and that effort personally, it's going to show and it's going to spread outward. But the other thing that has really been beneficial for me is to understand that people have the ability to choose, and people also have a time if and when they're going to wake up, for lack of a better term. Their time will be at the right time, and that's not everybody's time right now. And we have to let go of that. We have to realize that it's not our responsibility to change everyone, but just to do what we can personally. And speaking of community, one of the things that I've become most grateful for is over these years that I've been on this journey, I have found my tribe, and I continue to find my tribe. And I do my best to engage with everyone that I can, anybody I come in contact with, and understand them and listen to them and learn from them, and or just love them. You know, if they're a difficult person for whatever reason, okay, what in me is causing me to feel this way, or what's just happening externally that it's uncomfortable for me, and I choose not to be a part of that or whatever. But I really feel like as we, you know, right here is somewhat of a little tribe. And then we have our other tribes. There's like our small little tribes, but then there's collective tribe of people that are just so much on the same page. That builds energy. And not only our individual selves, but as a group, as a collective community, the community that we're in, I don't know how else to say it other than that builds that positive energy and goes out to other people. And those that are ready, it's their time. Those seeds are planted, and they're going to recognize something. They're going to recognize a piece of truth, and then they're going to start opening up to joining that tribe as well, if that makes sense. So in other words, I guess that just gives me peace, because it takes I have an individual responsibility, yes, but to myself and to my family, and to humanity in general, but I'm not responsible for others making their choice, if that makes sense.
It makes absolute sense to me. I'm sitting here writing down your words. First of all, I know you're a Christian, right? That's your religious structure. And you use that word overcome many, many, many times. Have you ever read the book of Revelation? And how many times that word shows up in the book of Revelation?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I'll have to pay attention, because I've read Revelation several times, but I have not paid attention to that word being in there over and over.
Well, just check it out. It shows up over and over and over again. Benjamin, you were talking about bringing, I think it was something about bringing peace into your own life. That's the whole idea behind our foundation, our educational foundation, because if each and every person on this planet had the tools or the understanding to bring inner peace, personal empowerment, and personal, I use the word prosperity because I like the alliteration, but it's really an abundance. It doesn't have to be money. It can be walking on the beach at sunset and just being enthralled with a gorgeous sunset. That is abundance. Walking on the beach and finding free seashells. There is so much abundance in the world if we just look for it. But getting back to my original point, if each and every one of us were simply to focus on bringing these, I'm going to call them states of consciousness, into our own life, it would become planetary. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, do you want peace and personal inner peace, personal empowerment, and abundance in your own life? Well, then you right in the corner where you are. You don't try to fix other people. You bring it into your own life, and then together it becomes planetary. Just two other thoughts I have here. I'll throw out real fast. Is any of you familiar with the Johari window diagram?
Mm-hmm.
really interesting map to look at. It's 4 quadrants. One of the quadrants is what I know and what other people know about me, or I don't know whether it's about me, but what both I know and other people know. A second quadrant is what other people know that I don't know. A third quadrant is what I know that other people don't know. And the fourth quadrant is what none of us knows. Mm-hmm. It's fascinating to play with. Another interesting one is Ken Wilber's AQAL diagram, which is the perspective from which you are looking at the world. I'm thinking too of, I think it's the oldest, what to call it, story of, I think it was it Oedipus? But what I'm thinking of is moving that boat through this narrow strait, which could be an opening or a gateway, between Scylla and Charybdis. And Scylla is the rigidity of the brutal rocks on one side, and Charybdis is the chaos of the whirlpool on the other side. And to navigate your own beingness through that strait is really challenging. But if you focus on your intentions and you focus on what you want to be, you get through between those two, what feel like polar opposites. So I'm finished for a while.
That's a great point, and I'll share just an insight about that too from my thoughts, and then I am going to log out because I'll be moderating the next session here on this track. This symbol, which is in the back that I have in this room, you can probably see from there, the yin yang. It's a very familiar and it's a cultural icon, but this actually has been a key that's unlocked an understanding for me into a lot of
We're losing you, Benjamin. You're muted.
Voice.
Oh, sorry about that. Thank you.
We heard up to
Anyway.
where you said key. It was the key.
Yeah, the yin yang symbol is a key to unlock understanding about the nature of duality. And so when you look at the yin yang, it's either a symbol that shows the potential for division and conflict, right? Of me against others, or things that are natural opposites. Or it's a symbol that shows the potential for harmony. And that harmony means a synergy of two complementary powers, two complementary beings. So it either represents division and difference or togetherness and wholeness. And that tells me that I need to allow, others who are different from me and different natural viewpoints to be able to share their perspective with me so that there can be a completeness and a wholeness. And I believe that this is an important point in understanding the anatomy of peace, that I have to rely on a perspective that is opposite of mine so that there can be a completeness. And if I ever take the approach of, yeah, we can have harmony as long as you agree with me, as long as you see that's only going to continue driving the division and exerting control and exerting a force.
A human force.
It's interesting you said all that. The one thing, I read a lot of different teachers going back and forth. We all do. We learn from different teachers. There's one word, and I do it all. I've been learning when I do it. It's very interesting. A sentence, I should say. Paul Selig says this. I don't know if anybody's interested in or has heard from everybody. He always says, if you can say it, I am word, which is in the Bible. I am word. I am is very important. That's another part of clearing it.
You're freezing again.
Say I am.
Francine.
I usually tell people, say your name. I, Francine, am. I. Okay, hold on. I'll fix it. Okay, so what I was going to say is I am to all I see before me. Someone else. To me, sending love to everybody in the world at one time is magical, and they can accept it, or the spirit could say no. You don't need permission to send love. So if you can send love that way and just say it and feel it, I've done it, walked into a store, and I've had people go like this and smile, and I've had people go like this and go, ugh. I felt their energy. They're like, I don't want that, leave me alone. And I felt, oh, that was good. So a lot of them are not awakened enough. They are, some are actually conscious that they are unconscious and are trying to wake up, if that makes any sense. Because that seems to be the theme here. Are you conscious enough that you know you're unconscious and you're now awakened and conscious? It's a tongue twister, but it seems that if you send love to everyone in the world, whoever decides to take it, takes it. If they don't, that's okay too. It's not forced upon anybody. It's just a nice way to share the love and peace, and hopefully they'll feel it in their heart.
Anybody else? Where else would you like to take this panel discussion? And I can probably be on for another 20 minutes and then I need to leave as well.
I'm gonna bow out now.
Yeah, Benjamin, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Benjamin.
You've held my back lots of times. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. What a blessing this is to be with you and to learn from you. Thank you, Francine, and thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Tim. I'll see you class later, I hope.
Okay, I guess, yeah. 5 o'clock my time. I don't know where.
I'm in Texas, so it'll be 6 o'clock my time, because I think it's 4 o'clock PT.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you again so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Take care. Bye-bye. Well, Francine
Yes.
and Jennifer, do we have more that we want to talk about, share, explore? We still have a little time. At least I have a little more time to give to it if the two of you do.
No, go right ahead. Is there anything you want to share, actually?
Well, I'm going to be sharing later on because, well, first of all, I have to keep myself in inner peace. So I'm pretty aware. I don't always hold it, but I'm pretty aware in each and every moment of what I'm feeling in my body, what commitment I've made.
I got something for you. Can we try something, ladies? Since it's us.
I'm sorry?
Can we try something that might actually give you a little peace before you, as you continue to the day? Would you like to try something?
Sure.
Would you like that?
Sure.
Okay, and whoever's watching. So let's go. Remember the hands on the throat we discussed earlier? Yeah. It's not just about that release. It can give you peace. We can harmonize. Now, this is what I'd like to do. It's a 3-breath practice. And you take a breath, and you say, you say Janet, whatever your name is, Janet, am. Take a breath. Because you're saying, I am. Because you are the I am.
And you're freezing again, Francine. You're freezing and your audio is popping in and out.
And then we're going to go into the word ease. Am I back?
You're freezing on the screen, on my screen anyway, and your audio is popping in and out.
Yes.
In and out. Sometimes she's really good, and then other times it's bad.
Very strange.
Yeah, which kind of distorts your train of thought. Actually, I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe I'm thinking maybe the next.
Did you hear me now?
I can, yes.
Do you
I
see
just
me
hope
now?
it holds.
You
I mean,
see me now?
sometimes it's fine. Yes.
Okay, we should be good there because I switched it around and hopefully that should handle it. So what I was going to say is we can actually go into just to get you accomplished. I know you have other things to do and you're involved and a little stressed, but you're doing a great job, just so you know that. If you put your hands, I want to know that you're harmonizing, because this is actually an amazing technique to help you relax your whole body. It really does. So if you go and put your hands to your throat, and anybody who's on, if anybody else is, and you're going to say I in your first name, and say it out loud. We want to hear you. They want to hear you. I'm hearing they want to hear, because there's a group of us. It's like, and say your name, I, and I'll say Francine, am, at, and I'm going to take a breath. And then I'm going to go at, and I'm going to go ease. Now, I have lung issues, they tell me, but if you hear how long I can hold that pitch, you're going to go, what? So let's go there, and I want you to feel the energy of the ease. So let's start. I. Go ahead, say your first name. Am. At. Now take a deep breath. And now go ease, and let's harmonize. Ease.
You're frozen again, Francine. Oh, now you're unfrozen.
Did you do the ease, or you both sort of stopped? Instead of, you were supposed to go ease and hold it as long as you could.
And to me, that felt like being in a box.
Yeah, because you know what? If you don't go into you are in a box. I'm watching you in a box. That's the whole point, is to try that ease, is to try to get you out of the box. But if you're
out of the box, at least I perceive myself as being out of the box.
Oh, I think I meant on the screen. We're in a box this way, which is weird.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Thanks for the clarification.
You're still in the box because you are in a box on the screen, and it actually has pulled your energy. All our energies have. We're protecting ourselves, so our energies have literally fit ourselves into the boxes that are on the screen. That does happen.
I am looking in your eyes, Francine, as you speak. And yes, it's through systems and everything, but I am looking at you and I'm feeling your energy and the connection.
Yes, and that's what you're supposed to feel. That's the whole point of the I am and that ease. That's the first time you said you saw my eyes and you felt the energy. That ease word was part of you to feel the energy of what actually ease felt like. Through my eyes and through the voice. It wasn't my eyes, it's their energy projecting through my eyes. People have said when I don't do anything, when they do it, they literally feel that ease and that peace. And when a person can go into that note and went privately with me, and we go into ease and peace, they all of a sudden lay there and go, oh my God. Now, I say to them all the time, they tell me I have COPD, I have all these lung issues, throat issues, yet I held that note and you were all like, what's going on here? I was harmonizing the whole time when you guys just stopped because you couldn't hear me, yet it kept going until and you said I'm frozen. I was still harmonizing when I hit unfreeze, because I could actually, through spirit, hold that note, which is amazing, because the doctor's like, how do you do that? How do you do that if your lungs don't work well? I said, because I think my lungs work fine. So going into ease or peace and taking breaths is actually calming the body if you're attuned. You don't have to even do it if you just listen to the energy. You saw my eyes. So when you see my eyes, and if you can pick up the energy through my eyes, that.
But if I am already in that state, why do I need to go through an exercise or a practice to bring me into a state that I am already in?
Oh, no, that was just sort of, you made a mention, and I don't usually remember things I say, so I will say that. I'm hearing them say you made a mention of a lot of things. You have this and this and this. This was just to put you in a more place of, because you're adorable. I love you. You're like, you got this amazing energy and amazing personality and sweet and humble and gracious. And they're like, she's feeling, I hope I did a good job. She's questioning herself. And they heard you questioning, and they tell
No. I'm not questioning myself. I am throwing a question out into the world for people to look at or think about. I do play a lot in the mental space.
I know you do.
I'm in the word space. And
certainly do.
The connection between our words and our experiences, and just clarifying what that connection is, because that's another connection besides the eye to eye connection.
Right. The eye to eye is usually how I work with the eye to eye. Spirit always wants them to see my eyes, because they change. They're not mine half the time. People are like, how come your eyes are blue? How come they're green? I'm like, that ain't me. That's them doing the work. I'm just an instrument. I'm nothing more than an instrument. And I'm humbled to be that. And when I hear people say that to me, I'm like, are you crazy? I even know you're nuts. But it's an amazing experience, because when I go into that harmonization, and I know you guys are already there, but when I do with someone who needs work, just say, their vibration just zooms so much higher, and they're like going, what the heck? They don't realize, they connect to it, and then they start, it's almost like singing a tune. You know when you sing a happy song and it makes you feel like, wow, I love this song, I feel so good. That's sort of where they want you to go. It's just feeling like you're if you feel like you're boxed in. I'm going to say that word. I heard say boxed in. So you're right now boxed in, but you're really not. You're way beyond that box that this human thing does to us. You're way beyond that. Your energy explodes out of it. It's like you can't wait to get out of it. You're like, oh, I'm exploding. I can feel your energy from here. You're like, get me out of this damn box. I've had enough here. I need to do something else. And I feel that because we're in boxes. I personally don't like boxes. I never really thought about it until now, because I have disfigurement in my face from many illnesses and 18 operations, okay? But you know what? It is what it is. I'm at peace with it now, and I don't mind being on screen. People could see I survived a lot of stuff. So to me, it is what it is. It's fine. So I'm in a box, and yeah, things are in my face, but that's how I learned to deal with the throat chakra and speaking my truth, because this happened because I wasn't. And I know I caused what happened here. So that's, I guess, why I learned how to speak through the throat and work with others. But I know you got a lot to do.
Jennifer, you have anything else you want to add to the conversation here?
Yeah, I actually had a thought in the very beginning when Francine first started her presentation that came to me back several years ago, and I forgot to mention this, so I'll just mention it now. And it's, whether it's an absolute, like, okay, that's the truth or not, it really resonated with me because the throat chakra, so I worked through a lot of things with my throat chakra over the years, still am, think we probably all are, but a lady that I was at a retreat with, she was teaching a class, and she's a singer. She's a very powerful singer. She's amazing. And she actually made the comment, she said, a lot of people think that your solar plexus is your power center because it's the center of your body. But she said, the throat is actually your power center. And when she started talking about that and why, it's your voice. Without your voice, whether some people, yes, they're mute, they can't audibly speak, but they still have a voice, they still have their expression, because without your voice, without your expression, that is basically your identity and who you are, and or how you express that. And it's without that, there's nothing. And so anyways, that was very profound. And so, Francine may already know that, but I just wanted to mention that for whoever's watching, because it was really I agree with her. Other people may not, but I really agree with her that just resonated as truth for me, that the throat and your voice and your expression that's the main power center. That's where the power is.
Deaf people who are deaf, because I actually took a course in sign language, and I decided because I wanted to learn how, I don't know why Spirit wants me to learn how to speak sign. I don't sign well, but I sign well enough to understand. I can read, and I've read
You're frozen again, Francine.
Sign. And the funny thing was, I watched and their emotions. Is it working? Yes?
It is
Is
at
it
the
working?
moment. Yeah, but you froze up there for a good 10 seconds, I think.
It just keeps doing that. It's an old computer. My son needs to buy a new one. That's all I'm going to have to tell him. Oh, my daughter-in-law.
Yeah, you need a logistical expert to fix your bandwidth, whatever it is, maybe.
Yes, I definitely need that. That's just too funny. But sign language, it's like they are, when they, even introduction, my name is, and they'll spell it out, and you see the expressions. They speak so much. That's why I always loved it. They carry their emotions right on their sleeves, in their face, in their heart. You can feel it. When they're mad, I feel it. I go, whoa, okay, I'm so sorry. I'm like, oh, and they're like, or they'll say, I don't like the word. And you could see it, you feel that energy. So they know they can express their voice with the energy of a voice without using it. Do you understand that? And I think that's why I was told to take the class of signing, because when they would speak with me with their hands alone, the energy that came out of their hands was their voice. And I literally got, sometimes go, okay, okay, I'll speak I was like, oh my God. So they would absolutely speak without the voice. And you felt every ounce of the energy because their expressions and their hand movement. And I do that a lot. And I guess it's from learning that and from being from Italian house. I'm always flailing, but that's my way of talking. I use my hands. It's just what I do. That's why I took sign language, because I use my hands all the time. And hands absolutely show your expression. If you're angry, your hands are like tight. I mean, your body reacts to your physical, your psychological feelings. So they do show, and if you watch a deaf person next time, seriously watch and pay attention and feel the energy of their conversation. You're going to know exactly what they're talking about, because you're going to go, oh my God, they're pissed. Or, oh wow, look how much joy is there. You're going to feel it. So yeah, just because they don't use their vocals doesn't mean they're not using their energy to portray exactly what they're feeling. Because when I'm with them and I've been with them in person, wow, are they powerful. So just want to let you know, just because they don't use this, they're using everything to compensate. And it works. They have no problem yelling.
It's interesting. I have had a totally different experience of the power center. And for me, it was very much in the solar plexus. It was a time when I was working toward a PhD, which I never got. And the reason I did not get it was because the CEO of the university called a special meeting and continued to slam me for 20 minutes, telling me that my conduct was destroying the entire university. And my conduct was nothing but asking questions and trying to get answers from the people in role authority. It felt like a punch in the gut. And fortunately, I have had a lot of experience dealing with these kinds of personalities. So I know how to protect my own energy field from that. I mean, I have to detach from his words. As I think it was you said, Francine, it's not my stuff, it's his stuff. But if I don't protect my own energy field, it impacts me. And I definitely don't want to take his energy into my own energy field.
No, that's
I could not leave the room. I sat there for 20 minutes, detaching from the words, but it felt like a punch in the belly for 20 minutes. When he finished, I just simply said to him, do you have anything else you would like to say? He said, no. He said, no. So I said, well, we may as well all just go to bed then. Now, I mean, there's a backstory to this, at least this is only my own perspective. He just fired, I think, the former dean of doctoral studies. He hired a new young woman. I think he was having an affair with her. She was present. He was obviously protecting her and blasting my conduct because I was asking her questions in her role as new dissertation advisors, and she was not talking to me. She was not answering my questions.
She couldn't answer them. That's why.
So I've got all these disconnects going on. But, you know, I was sad because I'd gained a lot from being part of the university studies and the experiences I'd had and the people I'd met there. But I knew I could not stay because I was not willing to be disrespected like that and treated like that. So, you know, I kind of sat on it for a couple of days and let it wash around in my mind and my emotions and my body. And then at the end, I just said, when I first came here, this is a dissertation writing retreat I'm at. I just said at the end, I came in here planning to have my dissertation proposal done by the end of this month and my dissertation completed by the end of this year. I no longer have any interest in doing this dissertation, and I do not need it. I already have one doctorate. I don't need another doctorate. And I didn't say it with that kind of anger, which you're probably hearing, or maybe it's moral outrage. I think it is kind of a moral outrage. But yeah, I left with a great deal of grief, and I moved on.
And it didn't stop you from becoming you. Look how amazing you are.
Well, that's exactly right. I have done that so many times in my life. I've moved away from people in role authority who have disrespected me, perhaps because I'm a woman, lied to me, assumed I'm stupid because I was born into a female body. And yeah. I think a lot of it is just, you will respect me because I respect myself. That's
hold on. Those are the words. There you go. See what you just said? You just opened up your vocal cords and released a past that you still held on to until that very moment. You thought you released it fully, but in this moment, you actually went and said, you know what? No, you literally just went.
Well, you see, we never know what we're holding on to because we can't see it.
But I saw it and I felt it, and I felt that like release and that joy. Go, I did it. I did good. I got this. I actually felt it from here. You felt like one of my students in this moment.
Thank you, Francine. And I have to leave now because
we all do. So everybody have a great day.
Yeah, thank you so much. If the two of you want to continue, be my guest, but I need to bow out.
Jennifer, I'll reach out to Jennifer. You take care of yourself. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. This was wonderful. Thank you for all the participation.
You too. Hey, Jennifer, I'll reach out to you at a point. I have your email. I wrote it down.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
You take care.
See you guys. Bye.